Hey everybody, this is Rich Noto here. I'm a realtor, home inspector, and notary located in Winter Garden, Florida. So today I wanted to talk to you about home inspections, and the reason why is because there's a lot of things that people hear from other people, and there's a lot of things going around that a home inspection should be this, it should be that. How do I pick one? All kinds of stuff. So today I wanted to talk to you about it. So let's get started. Home inspection, how to pick one. Number one, thermal imaging. That's the first thing that I would look for in a home inspector. Over here is a camera. This is a thermal imaging camera. Okay. And number two is a moisture meter. Now you really want to see if the home inspector has these tools, because the thermal imaging camera combined with the moisture meter can help a home inspector to find moisture that is possibly in a wall, if there's some kind of a leak going on, something like that. I'm not going to get into explaining how they work together, but it's definitely something to consider. Number two, the inspector. The inspector's report that you get, is it going to have pictures? Is it going to have videos? Or is it going to be like a checkbox? Okay, and what I mean is, it might just be like a piece of paper with like a box that the inspector checks off. So if there's a problem with the sink, they'll check off, whatever it says. If there's some kind of damage or whatever, they might handwrite something in. Or, you might find a home inspector that uses the other things, pictures and videos. So that's just something to keep in mind. Number three, the inspector. Does the inspector have a ladder and use a ladder? Now, the reason why I say this is because there is a standards of practice. Now, in that standards of practice, the only thing a home inspector really needs is this little outlet tester, okay? So, with that said, a home inspector does not need to have a ladder to go into even the attic in the home, because most of the time the attic is up in the ceiling. There's like there's going to be like a cutout up there, and you just kind of take the piece and just move the cutout and you go up there. Now, for the inspector to head up into the attic would need like a ladder that's attached, like the pull down type that comes down from the attic. And that's the same thing with the roof. An inspector does not have to go up on a roof. They do have to inspect the roof, but they could do it from the ground. So they could stand on the ground, take a look at it, or use a camera and zoom in on things. Now, you might be thinking, well, they should go up there or they shouldn't go up there. So, there's positives and negatives to each side of the inspector being up there. Also keep in mind, I'm going to say this right now, even though this is over here, number 8, is that a home inspector can't fix things. So if they do some kind of damage up there, the inspector then can't fix it. You'd have to call in a roofing company to fix the roof. So you may just want to have a roofing company look over the roof. Just a little food for thought. Okay, so it has to be readily accessible. Okay, so readily accessible is a pretty important term over here. Now this goes for the attic, the roof, anything else in the house. Now, readily accessible basically means that the inspector doesn't need to use anything else to access it. Okay, so again, the example was the attic. So the inspector doesn't have to go and get a ladder to go up there. It's right there. It's built in. Now there's going to be more to that in a little bit. Number 4. It's not a warranty. A home inspection is not a warranty. It's kind of funny that sometimes it's thought of as a warranty, kind of like, the inspector goes, checks it out, and if something breaks 6 months later or, 100 years later, the inspector has to pay for it. That's not how it is. The inspection is only what's observed on the surface at the time of the inspection. So if the inspector doesn't see something, or if it's just not there. So let's just say the inspector comes over, turns on this light switch, the light works, turns off the light switch, it works. Maybe they do it again, it still works, okay. The inspector leaves, somebody comes over, turns on the light switch, it doesn't work. It worked at the time of the inspection. The concept is kind of like a car. You go over to your car, you turn it on, it starts. You head over to a store, you go in the store, you shop, you come back out, the car doesn't start anymore. Same thing with a home. Things break, simple as that. Okay, number 5, the inspector is not going to move personal items, furniture, anything like that. Okay, so if you're the home buyer and you're having a home inspection done, take a look around the property. So for example, if something like this was like on a wall, maybe it was hung up, or maybe, there's something in front of a wall, speak with the home seller and ask if they can move stuff out. If there's bags up against the wall, say, okay, there's a whole bunch of bags over there. It could be, things that they're moving, things that are packed away for the move. Boxes of stuff. Maybe there's a pile of boxes. Ask them to move it away from the wall so the inspector can take a look, because something that's in front of a wall like that could really be hiding something bad, like some kind of a leak or a stain on the wall or something like that. So that's really just something to keep in mind. Okay. And of course, so I said items. They're not going to move items. They're not going to move furniture. So if there's a table and chairs in front of something, maybe the inspector might take a look under it. Maybe they won't. So that's really just stuff to consider. Now, number 6, during construction. This is probably the most important time to have a home inspection done. If I was going to pick one time to pay for a home inspection because I just didn't want to pay for it for whatever reason. I mean, look, I'm just going to be totally honest here. A home inspection is it's like the most important thing that you could do. Maybe even get 2 home inspections on the home from 2 different inspectors to really check it out, because a home inspection is probably the most expensive purchase almost anyone would ever make in their life. Excuse me, a home purchase. I don't know if I just said that wrong or not. I may have. Let me get a sip of water. Excuse me. Heat's on. It's very dry. Okay, so a home purchase is super expensive. Okay, a home inspection is relatively inexpensive compared to it. I mean, what is spending maybe $250 to $600 on an inspection that might catch things that would cost you thousands and thousands of dollars later on down the road? The last thing anybody wants to do is purchase a home and have to start like tearing it apart, or have to do like really serious fixing of things. Things that was sitting there right in front of everyone when they purchased it, but they just didn't know it because they don't have the training. So during construction, again, that's really the most important time, and you want to do it at the time right before this goes up, the drywall, the sheetrock, the plasterboard, whatever else you want to call this. You want to do it right before, because anything that is hidden in the back of this wall, once this goes up, that drywall goes up, it's done. Okay, so anything that was done incorrect is now hidden. So that's the time. That would be the one time. If there's going to be another time, of course, it would be towards the end of the inspection. But if I was going to have it done, I would try to find a home inspection company that can check out the home maybe 2 or 3 times in the process, just to keep up on it. Number 7, the inspector does not have to go anywhere unsafe. Now, this includes things like the attic, the crawl space, the roof. To kind of give you a little example of this, let's just say the crawl space. Now, the crawl space is on the ground. The inspector doesn't have to climb a ladder. They can access it, but by the inspector going in there, maybe there's insects that could cause the inspector harm. Maybe there's animals, anything in there. There could be a happy snake that's sitting there just, enjoying life. And now here comes the home inspector. So, with that said, the home inspector doesn't have to go anywhere that the home inspector feels is unsafe. Now, the attic is a dangerous place to be up there, unless if the attic is a finished attic. Now, if the attic is a finished attic, then the home inspector really should be going up there to take a look. What I mean is that the attic has floors, not that the inspector is going to be climbing around up there like a monkey, swinging from the rafters. So, that's just something to keep in mind. Anything else that the home inspector might feel is unsafe. So let's just say there's some kind of a wire over here, or there's some kind of like a bare wire. Maybe it's live, maybe it's not. Who knows? Inspector doesn't have to go there. Inspector sees it, puts it in the write-up. Have that looked at by a contractor. So anywhere unsafe, the inspector does not have to go. Number 8, the inspectors can't make a repair. They can't cut holes or modify things. They're not going to take this switch apart, check out the wiring underneath. They're not going to take apart an outlet and check out the wiring. There is, I've heard some things where, like, I've heard somebody say, oh, the home inspector is going to come and they'll adjust the cabinets in the kitchen. The home inspector shouldn't be adjusting anything, I've heard other things like that, and it's just, home inspectors don't do that. Home inspectors are only licensed to observe and look around. Now, something else, in case I forget, your service panel, which is the circuit breaker panel box. A lot of things have a couple of names. The actual cover on it, or the metal cover. Now, home inspector does not have to take that cover off. And there's a kind of good reason for it. Now, in the standards of practice, they really only have to look at the outside. Now, some of them are going to take off the cover. Again, there's pros and cons. For example, let's just say this is a circuit breaker. Like over here is maybe the switch. Now, in here is the wire. Okay, now this wire is kind of pushed up against the cover. Now the cover comes off, this wire pops out just because it was loose, and something goes boom. Okay? I mean, it could happen. There's a lot of power going into those circuit breakers. So an inspector, again, based on the standards of practice, does not have to take the cover off. If you want that done, make sure that you ask the home inspector that you might hire early. Are they going to do that? If not, hire somebody that has a license for electrical contractor, an electrician. Have them come in to check out the wiring on the house. Okay, so they won't cut holes. Again, yeah, they won't cut holes. They shouldn't do anything like that. They're not going to make any changes. They're not going to fix anything. Now, number 9. An inspector can't do 2 things in the same transaction. What does that mean? Okay, so let me take a sip of water. So let's just say you have a home inspector that's also a plumber. Home inspector comes in, home inspector's looking around, sees an issue with, pipes, or maybe a sink is, old and rusting and rotting away. I'm sure that we've all seen those kind of things over the years, especially, people that are like me, middle-aged. And, you see those things, you're like, okay, that sink just needs to be replaced. So if the home inspector, found something like that, and the home inspector is also a plumber, and I mean licensed plumber, not like somebody that just, fixes it on the side, the home inspector can't fix it. Now, it's something like 10 months or a year before that home inspector could function as a plumber for that same person that hired them as a home inspector. There's a certain time frame in place which keeps people safe in case if, say, a home inspector wanted to go and say, oh, well, this is broken, but I'll fix it, even though it's not broken. So, it keeps everyone safe. With that said, if you hire a realtor that's also a home inspector, okay, that realtor can do a home inspection. Kind of the same concept there. So your home inspector can only do the inspection. If you like your home inspector and your home inspector also has a license for something else, you're going to have to wait a large amount of time to hire that person back. So just keep that in mind. I hope that you found this video helpful, and I think I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to, and I did it in a nice amount of time. I thought it was going to take 20 minutes. If I could help you out with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out and contact me, and check out my website at wintergardennew.com. At the bottom of every page, you could always find the latest homes for sale, which comes right from the MLS, so the information is always the absolute most accurate that you could find. And you'll also find home plans from home plans from home builders, floor plans from home builders. Back that up. Get a little estimate of what your home is possibly worth. You could check that out as well. There's multiple ways to search for homes on there, especially new homes. And of course, used homes, which are resale homes, are also there. There's a whole bunch of articles that I wrote to help to get you caught up to speed. And just a lot of great stuff.